In this video, I'll talk about old plasterboard walls that have had wallpaper removed and how I skim them up to a level 5 finish ready for painting. And also, it happened, finally, I dropped plaster. There you go, absolute nightmare. First time ever, all that and more coming right up. Hi everyone, I'm bradamckinnon. Welcome back to another video. I am a drywall finisher, interior plasterer, taper and jointer, and a jib stopper as we're called here in New Zealand. And today I am skimming walls. These are old walls in an older house, probably 30 years old. And these walls had wallpaper on, which has been removed, and clients want their walls brought up to a paint finish quality, so that means skimming them up to a level 5 finish. But also, it's not just coming in and skimming them up straight away. I've been here the day before prepping, and I just want to run through what I do in my prep before I start skimming, and we'll just talk about a bit of the skimming as well. But as we go along, you can sort of watch what I do and how I work and which way I work. I work from left to right, sort of around the room, and I work from top down, and I go across the wall to the end, and then I work left to right up from the bottom. So we'll just go through the process now. So you can see the walls have, because they had wallpaper on, now the wallpaper's been removed. You can see where the painter originally 30 years ago was just used a spray gun and sprayed all the ceilings. You can see the overspray running down the walls and around the windows as well, and door frames and the skirting boards. So there's paint all over the walls. There's glue residue from the wallpaper. There's a bit of everything. The walls are all scuffed up from the wallpaper being removed. So it definitely needs that full skim just to fill all those in. By skimming the entire wall, you're getting that same finish across the entire wall. So it's all nice and uniform, ready for painting. Now, prior to today, so yesterday, what I sort of do first is I come in and I re-screw any of the walls where the nails have popped. Everyone used sort of clouts in the old days, and they always pop, so I just re-screw next to any nails that have come loose. Also, any joints that have cracked, I'll re-tape all those and fill those out. And even the joints that haven't cracked, I normally will just go over them with a thin coat of plaster. You can see here they're all vertical joints back in the day, so I've gone over those as well. I've re-taped all those cracked joints, mainly above and below windows and door frames. Any internal corners that have cracked, I've re-taped those and filled those out. And also, you can see I've put a band around the room, almost like a horizontal fixing has been plastered. You can see that strip through the center of the wall. So I've done that as well yesterday. By the way, that was the first time I've ever dropped plaster, and that is also the reason why I've got a roll of carpet film protector, which I just roll out around the room, 600 wide, just in case I happen to drop a bit of plaster. So that's where that came in handy. Plaster goes straight onto the plastic, and I can just pick that up straight away before I stand in it, or it goes on the carpet. But like I was saying, yeah, that strip around the room, that's just for when I come down the wall and lift off. I'm lifting off on that strip there. Sometimes the old glue residue and the wallpaper paste can react if you leave that plaster a little bit too long, and you can sort of get tearing. So that's just another reason I put that strip around there, so when I come back and work from the bottom up, we're not going to get any tearing or stuff like that. So that's the reason I do that, and that's the reason I do all this pre-filling around the switches. I've filled already around the switches yesterday. In any sort of difficult areas, I'll do that as well, just so when I'm skimming, I can just concentrate on skimming. I can work across the wall at a reasonable speed. It's like I say, if you just leave that compound a bit too long, it could just dry out in the edges, and once you come back and try and smooth it out again, it'll start tearing just because of that glue residue. So you've got to work pretty quick. It's not really a DIY job if you're thinking of doing this yourself. It's really for a professional plasterer or professional drywall finisher to do this for you. You're probably a lot better off paying someone to do this. Could be a headache if you're going to try and do this yourself, and unless you have a bit of knowledge about all the different scenarios that could go wrong. So, and I'm trying to explain those to you now. So again, that's another reason why I sort of coated over all those vertical joints as well, just to give me, you can see there I've stopped their skimming on that vertical joint which I coated yesterday, so I'm not going to get any tearing or any reactions there because I'm on top of that plaster I did yesterday. So it gives me a bit of time just to do that. So I've got that little square there, you can see about 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters there. I'm going to work quickly over. There's a bit of paint spray there, there's a bit of glue residue there, there's all sorts on the wall. So I'll work quickly towards that next joint that I've already coated over. So that's my reasoning for that, doing all that sort of thing. And it works well. So and also I always use a pre-mixed glue-based air drying compound over these old walls. It's glue-based, it's going to stick to anything. I never use a setting compound because that's gypsum-based, and I find it doesn't adhere to paint or glue residue very well, or not at all actually. So always use a pre-mixed taping mud. It's glue-based, and it will stick really well to any substrate. So I'm also using the Comay Smoothmaster trowel. Now I've done a few videos on this trowel. Really good trowel, really great for skimming. It's those rounded corners on it, which helps a lot for not leaving lines in your work. But I'm also, as I'm going, I'm putting my weight on the back of the trowel, so while I'm getting lines on the right side of the trowel only and not on the left side. So you're always putting your weight on the right side of the trowel just to not get those lines. You can see there I'm finishing up on that internal corner, which I've already done, so I don't have to come back and do that. So that's all that preparation is helping. Preparation is the key when you're skimming walls. You want to try and make it as easy as possible. You get all your prep done for the whole room, so you just concentrate on skimming. The switch here, you know, I coated around it yesterday, and normally you would have seen with the other one I just sort of went round it, but this one here was right on a joint, so I wanted just to go over it again. So that's the reason I'm going over it again. But yeah, that's my sort of process. That's how I do it. And if you're thinking about doing this yourself, I'd probably highly not recommend it. I recommend getting a professional in, knows what they're doing. It's pretty quick. I can skim out, like this room here, that wall took me 10 minutes, probably take me an hour to skim out the room. There's more prep, and I mean there's more time in preparation, and of course I've got to come back the next day and sand it. So, and I also, before I started prepping this wall, I sanded it with 100 grit sandpaper with my Festool Planex, just to really, get anything off there. So that's the process. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you like this trowel, watch this video here. It's really good. The Comay Smoothmaster, I really recommend it. Plus, if you want to check out some more Comay trowels, watch this other video here. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.